I'm running for president and I'm not a billionaire. I need the American people to finance my campaign, so I have designed a platform to solve the problems affecting 97% of the American people. Both business and labor will vote for Quixote because I intend to balance the economy, and the result of that balance will be better earnings for business, better jobs and wages for workers, and reduced desperation in this country. Reduced crime, reduced drugs, reduced desperation. I am here to fill a void in government. By the time a politician has enough money to announce his candidacy, he has already sold out. He's received millions of dollars from the billionaires he will serve for the next 4 years. The people you elect have not managed your economy for your benefit. They pay attention to the billionaires. Billionaires give them legislation packages designed to give more freebies to billionaires. Your politicians sell that legislation to the Congress. But they have created an unbalanced economy. As a result, 97% of Americans, investors, owners, bosses, and workers are earning 30 to 60% less than they would earn in a healthy economy. Test me on this now. What happens when you say to your congressman, this legislation you're sponsoring is bad for the country? It makes it impossible for a company inside the United States to compete with corporations which move their jobs to China. It sends jobs overseas. You end up talking to a secretary, don't you? And she'll blow you off like a fly on a birthday cake. Our politicians tell us we have to learn to compete with China. People, just a little common sense here. There are 4 times as many workers in China as there are in the United States. The well-paid workers earn $4 a day. When a worker gets sick in China, he is fired. In order to compete with China, the way our billionaires and politicians want us to compete, we all have to lower our salaries to $3.75 a day and work harder than a Chinese guy. If we get sick, we have to give our jobs to someone who is healthy, then go outside, sit on the sidewalk, and wait for sweet death. Now, I refuse to force American businessmen to compete with China. I want to force China to compete with us in every possible way. I want to charge a tariff on imported products and subassemblies. I want to raise the price of the garbage they send us so that Americans will think twice before they buy it. And I want to use the money to finance, right here in the United States, the best and newest and most modern manufacturing sector in the world. So every present owner and every potential owner and every potential employee of a manufacturing plant has a reason to donate $20 and vote for Quixote. And I want to rebuild our manufacturing sector to 50% of our national productive capacity. That means the 16 million business owners in the service sector who are not making enough money to hire one single employee will abandon the service sector and take a steady, stable job in a growing manufacturing company. They'll make more money working for someone else. As they leave, it will reduce competition among those who remain in the service sector. And as service competition is reduced, profits will be greater. As employees resign service jobs to take steady, stable jobs with more hours in the manufacturing sector, the employees who remain in service sector will get more hours, earn more pay. So everyone in the service sector will benefit when you vote for Quixote. 73% of our workforce do not have a college education. They are so underpaid, 37 to 39 million people cannot afford 3 square meals a day. I intend to charge a tariff on imported products and subassemblies. I intend to jumpstart a new, modern manufacturing industry in this country, a manufacturing sector that will hire high school graduates and give them steady, stable employment and a career path and a piece of the American pie they have not had since 1975. What did you think punk music was, anyway? So every high school graduate who wants a better future has a reason to vote for Quixote. Here's a typical example of the asinine government we have in this country. FEMA hires the wealthiest engineering firms in the country to subcontract local people in Louisiana at pitiful wages to manage the huge trailer parks. More than 80% of the money paid by FEMA is gobbled up by corporate offices in California, sucked up as clear profit by enormous corporations whose only contribution has been to stiff the local contractor. Only 20% of the federal payment goes into the struggling economies of Louisiana and Mississippi. I will reverse this and other disasters of misappropriation, so the small contractor has a reason to vote for Quixote, and I will bring a new prosperity to the Gulf Coast, from the Atchafalaya Delta to the sugar sands. I'm going to put your southern ass to work. People ask me if I'm anti-globalizationist, and I respond that I am pro-business. I recognize the only way for the United States to regain success in a capitalist world where Oriental workers are exploited is to balance our economy. 50% of our labor and money should be devoted to manufacturing of desirable, high-quality products which are sold here and also exported to Europe and the wealthy nations of Asia. If we ever plan to balance our negative trade deficit, we must plan to manufacture the very best of everything. The most efficient, the most reliable, the prettiest, the longest lasting, the best. People tell me, you're a nobody. How can you get elected? Here's an important fact. If every American whose life and future will be improved by my presidency would send me $20, I can get elected and your future will be improved. Let me say that again. If every American whose life and future will be improved by my election to the presidency will send me $20, I will be elected. It's your economy, pal. It's your job to spread the word. Students right now in high school and college are graduating into an economy in which all jobs are Mac jobs. Low pay, no future, unchallenging work, low man hours. The jobs are designed to minimize your earnings. There's no such thing in service sector as a career path to management. So 26 million kids coming out of high school and college have a reason to work for my campaign even if they're too young to vote. Here's what I say to American kids. Your economic future is the economic future of the United States. It is my duty, my obligation as president to offer you a better deal than you will get from the mealy-mouthed money grubbers we've put in office since 1980. And your parents have even more reason to vote for Quixote, because if the present practices continue, you are going to be living with them until you are 40. We should have a manufacturing sector inside the United States, which is 50% of our people and business owners and invested capital. We should have a service sector which is about 45% or less of our business resources. With a balanced economy, the service sector will be smaller and more prosperous, serving the manufacturing sector and the large population of manufacturing workers who can rely on a steady, stable salary. This means better earnings for everyone. Agriculture and native resource development should make up the other 5%. In order to maintain the balance of our economy and provide jobs for the 73% of our workers who never had a college education because they're too busy trying to make ends meet, we must balance the distribution of forces in our national economy so that we support each other, so that we maximize our profitability in a sustainable way. Only if we balance the economy can we once again become number one in innovation, number one in productivity, number one in quality, number one in reliability, and number one in earnings. And once again, we will have a country and a people and an economy and maybe even a government that we can be proud of. There's only one way to do that. Send me $20. Vote for Quixote. I'll give you a better future than you'll ever get from billionaires and the politicians they own.